Hello out there. It's time once again for the program that gives you and tells you all that it takes to know as far as 2023 general elections in Nigeria are concerned. This is Agenda 2023 on Ogtv 25 UHF here in Abeokuta. My name is Odunayo. It's great to have you join us on the program this Wednesday again. Last week we were here and we spoke about preparations of INEC ahead of the elections. Today we are looking at something different, and we'll unveil that after this time out. We'll just give you the issues in the news, and when we come back, we'll be telling you what the topic will look like today and our guest on the program. Stay with us. Agenda 2023 on Ogtv. Some major issues in the news as far as the elections coming up next year is concerned. Okay, today we are looking at ahead of 2023 general elections campaigns. What should the campaigns of political parties and candidates should be ahead of the elections? The campaigns for the presidential and national assembly elections will begin on September 24, while that of the governors and members of the House of Assemblies in different states will commence on October 12. But here we want to look at generally the campaigns. What should be the mode of campaigns? What we've been reading in the media in the past few days are quite disturbing. Attack of personalities essentially is what we've been seeing. We have not really been seeing issue-based campaigns on the part of different political parties. And that's why we're going to bring into the studio this afternoon a political affairs analyst, Prince Emmanuel Ikusagba, is our guest on the program. Prince, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to our viewers at home, and I want to say thank you to Ogtv for organizing such a wonderful program, an educative program such as this, because Nigeria, we are in a situation right now where we need something to unify us. Much more than something that would divide us along ethnicity, religion, or tribalistic bias. So, and the topic today actually says it all. What should our campaign texture looks like? Should we continue on this rhetoric? Somebody is this, somebody is that, like we are attacking, like we put 3 people in the boxing ring, box this, box that, let the fittest survive.
The 3 people, I'm sure for you, actually I'm
Peter Obi and Atiku. Though INEC will disagree with me because there are quite a lot of political groups who have indicated interest to run for the #1 seat in the country. But at the same time, we saw the fans, or supporters of these 3 candidates. They are the most vocal on social media. They are the most vocal on the political space.
Okay, let's take it beyond the candidates.
Okay.
Let's take it, because if you're talking about candidates, we also have to come down to the state and look at candidates of different political parties in different states and all that. Let's look at the political parties.
Okay.
3 major political parties well, two major political parties.
The PDP and APC.
Now, LP, Labour Party,
are just coming up.
is also a party that is emerging and it's looking like it's trying to also garner national appeal.
Okay.
Although not yet there, not yet at the class, at the level APC and PDP have actually reached.
Yeah.
Now, will you say that these parties, the three political parties, have been campaigning, have actually, just like you put it, the textures of their campaigns, have they really been, about the future of Nigeria, the economy, insecurity challenges we've actually had in the last 8 years? So for you, you think the parties have considerably done that, for the electorate to actually know who to vote for?
I would like to start my own case making from the aspirants, or let me say candidates themselves. I would like to appeal to the candidates in focus from the APC, PDP, LP, and without, I apologize to the NMPP candidate for not including them in the first place, but at the same time, we have not really had much from them.
Yeah.
I want to appeal to them that Nigeria is in this very delicate situation, that even in their own personal representation outside there, they shouldn't say things that will spawn their supporters to fuel the embers of divisions in this country. Then another thing that we should do very well and very quickly is remaking the image of this country to the international communities. It goes beyond 2023 general election. We have seen some of our candidates go on air and started making, unprintable things about our country, just because you want to win the appeal of the general public to be on your side. It happens across the political parties, but it's very, very rampant in some than the other. So when we are vying for the #1 seat of this country, which is the presidency, I think the first place to start with is to promote the image of that seat that you are vying to sit on. You can't tell the whole world that Nigeria is the most corrupt country. Even if you succeeded at becoming the president, that blemish will still be there. People will still be looking at it as, has this guy within 2 months been able to clean up the system? So you will face the same, like you are raising a python. You face the threat from the same python when it grows to that stature to attack a human being. So we should please, I'm starting from the candidates now, in all our dealings and engagement, whether on the social media or on air like this, as we are doing right now, we should try, in as much as we are trying to gain the appeal of the people, we should rather use our track records. Because, let me surprise you, sir, all the top runners, the front runners in this race, they have at one time or the other held public offices. Peter Obi was a former governor for 8 years. Atiku Abubakar was former vice president for 8 years. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was former governor for 8 years. Even the other guy at NNPP, Kwakwanso, he was also a former governor. So I think from their antecedent, their track record, while they were there in the office, they first trust people reposed in them when they were public office holder. I think they should start by telling Nigerians, these are what I did with what you entrusted in my care during my time as a public servant. I know that will be, I have studied something about the two holy books that are common to us in Nigeria, which is Quran and Bible. There is a portion in the Bible where there are 5 servants that were committed a token, 1, 2 talent, 1, 3, the other 5. And at the end of the day, one that was given 1 came, he said, I hid that talent because it was too small and I did nothing with it. Take your talent back. And some that they gave to, he traded with 2 and he got another 2. The one given 5, traded with the 5 and got another 5. When the master returned, I underlined that word. He said, because thou art faithful in this little thing. He said, then we can commit a greater responsibility into your hand. So if anybody says you want to lead Nigeria, anybody want to lead Nigeria as volatile, as big, as diversified as we are, you need to have had an experience, which all of them had. Now let them come out and tell Nigerians that the office you entrusted into my care for 8 years, these were the things I did to make life better for my people. As the governor of Anambra State, I was able to do this, did that for my people. And now if I am given a bigger opportunity, I will replicate what I did in the education sector. I will replicate what I did about infrastructure. I will replicate what I did with human empowerment. Let article tell us that as the vice president, I oversaw project, that commission, and this were the track record. We were like this before, and by the time we were leaving office, it has grown to this. Let Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu come and tell Nigerians, when I was governor of Lagos State, this was what I met on ground. This was how I was able to manage the resources, both human, financial, and capital resources. This was where I met Lagos. This is where I took Lagos to. Let people now, the electorate, let them now decide. Okay, out of these 3 people, we have given this person a chance based on the limited resources available to them at that time. He did this, he did that. Based on the limited available resources available to this person, he was able to do this, he was able to do that. If we make our campaign issue-based campaign, Nigeria as a country will be better for it.
Now, Prince Ikusagba, let me quickly take you back. From your experience in the Nigerian political space over the years, do you think that Nigerians have always allowed their minds and their sensibilities to be swayed by issue-based campaigns? You know, over the years, we've heard of vote buying, money politics, and all that. You know, Nigerians, there is this feeling that Nigerians' consciences can actually be bought by money. You know, their voter cards, can actually be bought by money. It's not actually, what the candidates, are capable of offering.
Okay, let me approach that. It's part of where I started my assertions from. I said, when we come on air, for me, at every given opportunity, I say my country as the best. I want to tell the whole world that electioneering everywhere in the world has not attained the position of perfection. If you flash back to the United States of America, the election that brought in, I think, Donald Trump, people cry foul. Even the recently concluded election, there were allegations of here and there, this and that allegation, but those people know how to manage. Whatever it is, the outcome that is not perfect, they will improve upon it. Now, coming back to my country, my beloved country, Nigeria, we are attaining the stage of perfection gradually. We may still be far from it, but we are not where we used to be. Nigeria of a time, you will hear about ballot snatching, you will hear of violent, the recently concluded elections. Take Ekiti, take Osun, for instance. We have relatively peaceful electioneering process. And when it comes to vote buying, I think now your programs, this kind of program, we should have more of it. That is why I commended Ogtv for bringing up fantastic program like this. So many people don't even know the process involved in electioneering. I was in a gathering about 2 weeks ago. I won't mention what political party, because we are everywhere. We want to know what is going on. We were asking a particular community, who is going to represent you at the House of Assembly? A whole community that about 500 people gathered. None of them know who is representing them at the House of Assembly. None of them knows who is representing them at the House of Rep. None of them know who is supposed to represent them at the Senate. Now, when those people come on the day of election, anybody who gives them the highest inducement, they will rather, they can tilt towards that person, because in their localities, they hardly see political programs that, orientate them about how powerful they are as a citizen. There is this misunderstanding or misconception between the people and the, in quote, government. The people at home, they don't really know that they are the government. And the people in service, they are just our servants, our representatives in these 4 war corners that we call offices and secretariat. The democracy was defined long ago as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Are you with me, sir? Now, if democracy is government of the people, Yoruba have a balance. They said then they can enjoy awade, which means somebody cannot call himself a people. You are a person. So the governor that is representing you is just a person. The candidate that is going into that place is just a person. As beautiful, no matter how rich you are in this country, you have only one vote. Dangote cannot vote twice. Ashwani Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot vote twice. President Muhammadu Buhari cannot vote twice, no matter how powerful or how influential you are. So the people need to be oriented that the development that is lacking in your vicinity, it is so because you don't get involved in the electionary process. If you allow people to come and induce your vote by 5,000, what you have done is you have sold the developmental project that is supposed to come to your place in 5 years.
But I don't think it's a lost hope situation for Nigerians. They've actually experienced electoral processes in the past that were marred, by violence, by all manners of shenanigans, political shenanigans, and they seem to have actually lost hope in the system and in the process. You don't think so?
I don't think so. I will take the present situation in Ogun State, for instance. If we are talking about power of incumbency and succession in government, Prince Dapo Abiodun wouldn't have been governor. Because when we are talking about war chest, the people in power, they have what it takes to buy their way through. But it comes to a point in a man's life when you decide that if I perish, I perish. This is the best way I want to go. Nigerians are wiser now. Nigerians are wiser now. In fact, the involvement of our youth is changing the story. Though some are still brainwashed by fallacies and sweet story, but a majority of youth that are actively involved in politics, we realize that it is our time. Truly, it is our time that I just said. That phrase could be misinterpreted or can be interpreted in a million ways. Our youth needs to be involved in this, in this forthcoming government shift, and the only way they can get that done is to be actively involved. We should not leave the work of monitoring election to INEC alone. We should not leave the work of electioneering process, voting, monitoring your polling unit, monitoring even your community. Every community leaders now need to start sensitizing their people. If we send our vote this time around, please don't come to my house to come and complain. Don't come to my house. Let even the community leader take the lead in this campaign against financial inducement, which is automatically like dangling the carrot before our people that you just do my bidding. Let me get there. And those people, if I come and I purchase your vote, then you don't have the right.
Please, as we're closing gradually, what do you think should be the critical issues that the parties should be campaigning? That should be the kernel, the key points in the campaign books of the political parties. I mean, looking at Nigeria in the last 8 years.
Okay. Well, thank you for that brilliant question. What I will say is we have to be sincere with ourselves. Let's check Nigeria. I want to thank President Muhammadu Buhari for his investment in infrastructure and electricity. Nigeria has been trapped for quite a number of decades that whenever any politician is coming to us to ask for our vote, there is number one thing on their card: we will give you constant electricity. We will see countries as, I don't want to use little because it's a whole sovereign nation. Yeah. South Africa, with lesser population when compared to Nigeria, they have over 44,000 megawatts of power generated. Nigeria, we are still dangling between 4,500 today, 7,000 tomorrow, and that. But thank God, by the time what Siemens, the equipment they brought to Nigeria, by the time they complete it, I read on the news that it will shoot our power generation to 25,000 megawatts. And I think that is really commendable. Nigeria should look at our critical issues. We have security challenge. Who among all these candidates have once faced a security challenge? Maybe the presidential candidate or the running mate. Then we have challenge with our electricity. who, in their period of occupation of what is it called, the public office, who among them has attempted, one way or the other, to fix it in their little, what is it called, territory where they were made to govern. We have issue with job creation. Which among these candidates has been able to do something applaudable in the area of job creation for our youth? It is very alarming that in Nigeria today, majority of our youth are jobless, not because all of them are not qualified, because even we produce millions of graduates every year. But unfortunately, there are not factories. What we are creating in Nigeria is religious centers. Who has a track record in creating jobs for our people? Who has done it before? Among them, who has created agencies to cater for the needs of the people when he was given the opportunity to do so in the time past. So our campaign should be based on what are our problems. If we fail to identify and look at who is the best person to provide solution amongst Peter Obi, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Kwakwanso, or who is the next person? Atiku. Let's check them.
I guess what you are saying is that we should check their pedigree.
Let's check their pedigree, their track records, and see.
Okay, we must thank you so much for coming. Prince Emmanuel Ikusagba, political affairs analyst. This is just a 25 minutes program.
I feel like going on and on.
But I just hope Nigerians will
then please, lastly, before you close the program,
yeah,
I would like to appeal to supporters, most especially the youth on social media. If we get it wrong now, we are likely going to remain in the same spot, on the same spot for the next 8 years, because it is usually very difficult to defeat an incumbent presidency in Nigeria. So please, youth, I want you to take note that don't allow emotion to lead you on to the wrong path. Sit down, make an analysis, make critical analogy by yourself. Analyze the situation, analyze these candidates based on facts, based on track records, and based on their past performances. And that is my few advice to our youth populace.
All right, advice to the young population of Nigeria. They've been very, very vibrant on the social media, no doubt about it. But for Prince Ikusagba, you need to look before you take a plunge. That's the program. We thank you so much for watching. We'll come back next Wednesday for another edition of the program, Agenda 2023 on Ogtv. We'll see you again next Wednesday, God willing. Bye for now.